Kiss me, and let us both be damned.
To be honest with y'all, I'm in unknown territory when it comes to Emerald Fennell and Wuthering Heights. Fennell has become a director that's known for her unconventional and controversial direction according to online chatter. Also, she's the daughter of a jewelry designer named Theo Fennell and a book author, Louise Fennell. So Emerald comes from a lot of money and opportunity for where she's at today. When it comes to Wuthering Heights, all I know is that the story has romance in it. It's set around the 1800s and very erotic. That's just coming through the trailer I saw with Charlie XCX music, which I thought was an interesting choice to use. Wuthering Heights had so much hype and controversy surrounding it due to the changes Fennell has made with the casting choices, including Jacob Elordi's role as the character named Heathcliff, who's described as a brown-skinned slave in the books. Whitewashing a character in 2026, I have to say, is crazy, but I wanted to give Fennell in the movie a chance to see if the changes she made resulted in Wuthering Heights being good. Wuthering Heights visually looks attractive, but when it comes to the casting and the story, they missed the mark for me. Wuthering Heights had so much potential to be an interesting, tragic romance movie that speaks on toxic couples. So the story involves Catherine, who's from a wealthy family, and Heathcliff, who's founded by Catherine and grew up as a slave to her family. Catherine has a gaslighting and abusive dad who gambles their wealth in an unhealthy manner. Catherine's dad's plan was for Catherine to find a rich man to marry her, but as Catherine and Heathcliff grew up as adults, they had a close relationship. Catherine and Heathcliff get exposed to not only abuse, but sexual behavior that has caused them to be very toxic to each and everyone else around them. I was amused by how Catherine and Heathcliff are so unlikable, yet you can understand why they are the way they are. Catherine is treating Heathcliff more like a pet she loves than a person she actually in love with. Heathcliff loved Catherine, but due to not having absolute access to her, it resulted in other people getting hurt. Think of that old song from Carl Thomas called I Wish, and that's basically who Heathcliff is in Wuthering Heights, watching Catherine with her rich husband. That is where my positives stop, besides how good Wuthering Heights looks with its standout colors and the costumes. Usually, I don't agree with purists when it comes to any form of adaptation casting, but for Wuthering Heights, they were valid for their frustrations. The two castings the online film culture has been focusing on was Margot Robbie as Catherine and Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. I saw in interviews that Fennell imagined Heathcliff as a white character, and in my mind, I'm thinking of two things. Either Fennell completely ignored who Heathcliff is supposed to be in the story as a brown slave in the 1800s, or she wanted to adapt the book so badly but realized that her as a white woman directing this movie on Black History Month is crazy. Jacob Elordi does not fit Heathcliff at all. In fact, I imagine him more of the rich character Catherine marries than Heathcliff. Fennell tries to ugly him up by having a missing tooth with long hair and a beard, but that's not going to work. Not only does Elordi being Heathcliff does not work, Margot Robbie as Catherine doesn't work either. Catherine and Heathcliff are supposed to be young adults around 18 to 21. Margot Robbie tries her best to fit Catherine, but it just wasn't effective to me because she's an older actress playing an obvious younger character. As much as the marketing for Wuthering Heights tries to hype up how erotic this movie was supposed to be, it was tame. I think another positive about Wuthering Heights was that it wasn't grotesque as other kinky movies compared to 50 Shades or anything like that. We don't even see anyone naked in the movie, which was very surprising for this type of film. But the closest you get to kinky scenes are when they play with certain objects or food implied as certain positions. There is a scene when Catherine is daydreaming and she looks at the cooker massaging the dough like it was somebody getting spanked. That's as close to kinky scene as you will get in the Wuthering Heights movie. Fun fact about me, I cringe during sex scenes, so the fact that I didn't even cringe once could be good or bad for somebody that's expecting kinky. Wuthering Heights is interesting at the very least, but this movie will have an audience when it comes out in theaters. Inferno had so many ideas that they could have explored with this movie about toxic relationships and how adults can shape kids into monsters, but due to the casting decisions of our main characters, it hinders the whole story. If you plan on watching Wuthering Heights and you love Charlie XCX, then you might as well go ahead and watch it. But if you watch the Wuthering Heights trailer and don't enjoy Charlie XCX, you will go, what the hell, and think that this movie is just a piece of doo doo. Some parts were worth thinking about, and some parts just felt like a waste of time, is where I stand with Wuthering Heights.